outside of here, you're married, right?
Yes.
And then you have
One kid. I have a son who's 14.
Okay. And so what do you, because I always find it so interesting, what you guys do outside of here, you know, like to me, it's funny to know, we'll bring him to fire and then here he plays music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like so bipolar, like opposite,
Right.
you know. So what do you do for enjoyment?
All kinds of things. My wife and I own a dance hall.
Yeah.
We mostly do weddings there.
And tell me the name of that again?
Yellow Rock Events. It's out on the Claude Highway. It was an old square dance hall. For 30 years, they had square dancing every night.
Oh my God, I bet my meeting is in.
Yeah. We bought it and
When did y'all
remodeled
buy
it about 5 years ago.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Does most of y'all's like stuff, do you get word of mouth? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Because y'all don't really advertise.
We don't advertise through traditional means like radio or television or newspaper.
Right.
We don't even have a phone book.
Yeah.
I don't remember the phone book anymore. So we just basically, it's all social media.
Right.
We're on all kinds of stuff and promote it through that, and then word of mouth. You know, Amarillo word of mouth works great.
Yeah.
Once you get established.
Yeah, that's
So.
how y'all's the drunk Santa and the costume party go.
What's that?
The drunk Santa and the costume party. How that
The
go?
drunk Santa went. It was a lot of fun.
Was it?
Yeah, it was tons of fun. We had it all decorated up. We had little different areas. We hired a one-man band to play. We even had I have a buddy that has his own fire truck. He brought it out there. It was a lot of fun.
How would you say that you compare, like for weddings and stuff? How would you say like your venue compares to like Starlight Canyon or something? You know, because are they both like out in the? I mean,
They're kind of both out in that area. Yeah. Well, we try not to compare ourselves to the other venues. Honestly, we don't look at it as a competition.
right. I just meant like, do y'all have that outdoorsy real? You know, I love that.
Yeah, we have an indoor area. We have an outdoor arbor area for people to get married in. We're constantly adding stuff to the venue to just give them more options.
How big is it?
The venue is 3,600 square feet. And the outdoor area is
And so, what's your max people?
about 200. We try to limit it to 150.
Yeah, stay safe.
Yeah.
And so you have the event center, and then
And
what
I
else?
do acting. I do voiceovers,
Do you? I could see you doing voiceovers.
writing. Yeah, I have my own voiceover studio at home.
Oh, cool.
I do audio books. I do TV.
Oh my God, do you
commercials,
really?
I do radio.
What audio
commercials.
book? Name some audio books you do.
Well, right now I'm working on one called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. It's like a workout book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff for this one company out of Florida, so they keep me busy most of the time.
Yeah.
I did a Western. I've done all kinds of things.
That's so
Comedy
cool
books.
if you are gifted, you know, because
It's fun.
my mom used to read a book every day when I was growing up. And then when audio, and this was before it's now, you know, is what it is now, she started listening to books on tape. And she passed away in April, but I still keep her Audible account. She has like probably 12,000 books, I mean, of every, you know, kind. But the narrator seriously like makes that, like I have a hard time for women, but like Scott Brick's one of my, favorite. And I have, I have to have that good narrator, but how fun that would be.
Yeah, it is fun.
That would be cool. And when you do you do voiceovers to like commercials and stuff?
Yeah.
Like for the local stations?
Yeah. Local,
Who do you
national.
work with the most, like Town Square or?
I used to work for Cumulus Media. That's how I got into doing voiceovers.
Oh, really?
And I would do a lot of their commercials.
How'd you start doing it at Cumulus?
Because I was a stand-up comedian.
Are you really?
For 20 years I did stand-up
Oh
comedy.
my God! Did you do comedy at the club when it was down on Polk?
Yeah.
Before, what was his name? The owner that?
Kelly
Yes,
Moran.
I loved him. That's where I found the Chinaman, you know, and he's one of my favorite comedians.
Mark Britton.
I love him.
Yeah, it's actually, I started at a place called the Rendezvous Comedy Club that was here for about a year.
Was that the one where
it was on South Bell and I-27?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started out there, and then Kelly and his brother Kevin opened the one downtown.
Yeah.
And I worked there for a little while, and then I actually quit the fire department and moved to Dallas to do comedy full time.
Oh, did you really? How'd that go?
I did that for 6 years.
Really?
It went great, yeah. But I got married, we had a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And so I decided to come back to work for the fire department.
Because of late nights.
Insurance and yeah, I was gone all the time, the time. So I traveled all over the country, all over the world. And then when I came back here, I did a comedy show that Cumulus Media promoted. And so they met me through my comedy show. And then they invited me to come onto the radio and start doing call-in characters and just make up stuff. And I would just make crap up and go up there and have fun. So that's how I got started in that. And then I decided to build my own studio at home.
Well, and how did you, with the Audible, how'd you did you just call and, hey, I want to try out or what?
No, they have a website called ACX, and you can go on there and you can audition for books. It's like a place for authors that want to self-publish.
Oh, right.
And they can list their book on there, and then you can list yourself on there as a voiceover artist, and they can either contact you and ask you to do their book, or you can contact them and say, I'd like to audition for your book.
Yeah.
And
that's cool because
started.
I think, I can see that, I think that you would have the good, that's why I like Scott Brick, is because he can do any character, but even like if he is doing a woman with a Georgian accent, it's like crazy, but it's just, he keeps me really, because other than that, like my attention span's like, you have a bad narrator, but I can see that. It's crazy, like such a diverse, quality or talent. They're just so completely, it's just so different.
Well, we have so much time off that you get bored, or you think, hey, I could make some extra money doing this on the side. So we all have side jobs, and you end up with this mix of like MacGyver type dudes at a station. You'll have a plumber, an electrician, a comedian, a singer, and so it makes it very interesting at the station because of that. And all the pranks get elaborate because of that. When you got a plumber and an electrician, you're like, all right, we're gonna really prank this guy good.
Oh God, I bet y'all do. I bet you're about to like sorority boys.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
It is like a frat house.
And so, because it seems like to me there's a lot, when my friend now tried to get in the fire academy, it's a lot harder, than it was, back when like Cody and several of them did. It just seemed like they kind of, went in. Is that because of the amount or just the quality of like applicants? Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that it's easier or harder now. Honestly, it was difficult when I got into the academy. There were about 90 people that tried to get in the fire academy, and they only accepted 26 of us.
Yeah.
And then after you graduate the fire academy, you're just eligible at that point to take the civil service test to get hired. So then when I went to take the civil service test, then there's another 90 people in there competing for 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah.
So it's always been a competitive job.
Yeah.
Before that, it would be an open test to anyone in the public. You didn't have to go through the fire academy first.
Okay.
And they would have 400 people show up. And the ones that they hired, then they would put them through the academy and train
That's
them.
weird.
And put them online.
I know.
And then, so now it's more like, well, you have to get your certs first. You have to get, all this before we'll consider hiring.
Yeah.
It's just much more cost effective.
Yeah. That's
But the fire service just period is competitive.
Right.
No matter where you go, it's hard to get a job.
And I don't think they pay y'all nearly enough, but y'all have, but y'all have really good benefits, right?
Yeah, we've got a great retirement. We have.
But like, what would you say is like, like really different about, say, the risks of being a fireman and like, say, a policeman?
Well, they get shot at, and we go into burning buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would never want to do their job. I would not want somebody shooting me. That scares me.
That would
and
hurt.
just like I'm sure they wouldn't want to go in a burning building.
Well, but it's just so intense too, because the heat, I can't imagine the heat.
It does get very hot.
Well, and that's what I was asking, like earlier, you know, when we were talking about the hoses, that's what I was wondering too, is because it's like, do you almost have to almost acclimate? You know what I mean? Like at first it's, you can hold the hose and you're not, you start shaking in an hour. And then, do you know what I mean? And then later, as you've done it longer, you can, it's like lifting weights.
You sort of get used to it, but you've got such an adrenaline going on, you know, dump going on that you usually don't notice that you're tired until later.
Yeah.
Or when things sort of settle down.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, exhausting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know.
The heat itself, I was used to being a roofer, so that actually helps me. I'm like, it's kind of cool in here.
And would you say, like, what's the hardest thing, like with those, especially in Plainville, like we were talking about those grass fires and stuff? Because that seems like there was one that it took, like, I don't know, it seemed like 3 days it took almost, you know, to put it out. And I can't imagine just the exhaustion, sure, for one anyways. But, I mean, like, why are those so much harder? Do you know what I mean? Like, how come we can't just spray it with water?
Well, there's
Is
a lot
it
of
the
times
wind
you just
or?
can't. Yeah, the wind around here is beyond our control, and so sometimes you can't get far enough ahead of the fire to stop. You know, but then it's just the dry fuels around here. You can't get to everything. You know, that's why we've got this new tipless truck so that we can have more access.
Right.
But it's just very difficult.
So how long have y'all been using?
We've only had this truck for about 6 months. This is a,
Fancy.
yeah, it's actually sort of a deal that we've worked out with the state of Texas.
Oh.
TIFMA stands for Texas Intrastate. You know
Something.
what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll look at it later.
Yeah.
But it's, in other words, we have agreed to train our guys at this station and throughout the fire department to be able to man that truck. And if a big fire or a big incident happens somewhere else and it doesn't even have to be the state of Texas, but for example, right after we got the truck, Hurricane Harvey hit. And so they called us and said, can you send a crew with your TIFMA's truck to Houston to help out?
Oh, really?
So we get volunteers and 4 or 5 guys get on the truck, they pack their stuff, they left, they went to Houston for about
And
a
why do
week.
they do that? Is there only so many trucks like this? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's certain types of trucks that they have, and they use these, they have them spread out throughout the state of Texas. And so they can call up extra backup forces that are trained to do certain types of things, rescue, wildland firefighting being one of them. There's also an all hazards certification you can get. So it's really sort of this mutual agreement kind of thing, where if they need us, we're gonna bring the truck and our guys and provide that for you. And in return, they provide us with a truck that we can use here when we need it. When we have a grass fire, we can take that truck.
And you don't have to pay for it, so it's just a trade-off.
Correct.
That's cool, because that would be like,
Yeah, because
crazy.
this stuff gets expensive. This
Oh,
equipment
yeah.
is very expensive, all of it.
I'm sure.
So,
Well, and it just gets, that's what's
and
it's
it
so
gets
funny.
a lot of
to-
use.
How much, like, more events they, because I was looking in that book, you'll die when you see the pictures. But it's like on the, you know, that Model T, it was like there was a tank and a hose.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all
Just
there.
the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, we
now
have
it's like-
evolved so much as a fire service. You know, firefighting is really one of the smallest pieces of what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we run medical calls
Oh, I'm
85%
sure.
of the time.
Now, okay, so like out of the 10 days and the 24-hour shifts, what percentage would you say that you guys are here or fighting fires? Do you know what I mean?
This station's one of the slower stations, so you're here a lot more often. But when we are here, we're training, taking classes, doing inventory, working on wildland stuff. There's always something to do.
Yeah.
Or we're out and about in our district, familiarizing ourselves with the larger buildings, you know, just kind of the layout of everything, talking to people. We do a lot of public education.
That's what I was going to ask.
We have
Do
an
y'all do
elementary school
stuff
right
at the
next door and a
schools?
middle school, so we go over there all the time. As much as they'll let us, we go over there and interact with the kids. Even
Yeah.
if it's not a formal presentation, we'll go over there and last year we went over and read Christmas books to the kids.
Yeah.
We'll go over there when they have, you know, when they get the parachute out in the gym.
Yeah, I love that.
We'll go run under it and play
Yeah.
with it. They invite us to their ice cream social at the end of the year. They have a dunking booth. We go fill it up with our fire truck.
Oh, yeah.
We get them wet. We have a lot of fun.
And what, are y'all required to do like a certain amount of, of the public, you start like teaching and, within the schools and stuff, or no?
Not individually, but yeah, each district has schools within that district, and you have to do so many fire drills per year.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you go and do a fire inspection. But beyond that, there's not necessarily a requirement. We try to reach out to at least every elementary school in town.
And how are you about if people call in, and say like, hey, do you think y'all could, like say.
Like a request?
Yeah, like say a large company or something like that.
Yeah, it happens a lot. We'll have a company call up and say, could you come give us a safety class on how to operate our fire extinguishers?
Yeah.
No problem. So we'll get a guy or two and send them over there. Our public information officer handles a lot of that stuff.
Heck, I'd be like, show me how to get out. What have you done me?
Well, I tell you, Pilgrim, I used to ride pretty high in the saddle till my blisters broke.
Oh, God, that is good.
Hello, chaps. Check out 806. What's it called?
Unhinged.com.
Unhinged.com.
You're going to be on there.